How's it going, everybody? Welcome to We Do Tech and to another very late behind the scenes video. Now, I actually said I'm going to do these a lot more like a while back and it never happened. So hopefully it'll happen this time. No promises though. I'm gonna try, but we got a bunch of stuff in that I need to take a look at anyway. So I thought, why not do a little unboxing on some of this stuff, and we are potentially going to do like a build later on today. So we're going to use that box down there, but we'll take a look at that. And then probably I'm going to do a live stream with that build. So it's one of my editors, my editor's PCs. So we're going to do a little build for him. Why not live stream it as well? So, but today we do have a little laptop that I need to take a look at, which I already have. It's actually my main one that I use for pretty much everything, which is the Gigabyte Aero OLED. It's just a beast of a laptop with the OLED screen. The screen is just so clear. If you've used an OLED laptop before, you know what I'm talking about. But if not, you can just imagine go standing in like next to at a store with like a bunch of TVs, and go stand next to go stand in front of one of the most expensive ones with like $10,000 and all of that, and you'll see the difference, because usually those do have like a quantum dot or OLED display, and it's just so clear. But anyway, that is currently the 15.6-inch model with 10th generation. It has a 10875H Intel CPU with 3070 Max Q and 16 gigs of RAM. Basic stuff there. But this one is now again also with a 3070, but it has the i7-11800H. But on paper it actually looked like that one is a bit better. On paper, it's not usually the case, but on paper it looks better. But this is now the 17-inch model, so we're gonna do a little unboxing on this one, and then we're going to do like a few benchmarks, let's say, do a temperature test and so on, and then we'll do everything else in the full review. But again, just a nice little unboxing for this one. And then also we do have a bunch of other stuff that actually came in as well, some headsets. Here we actually have the HS80, which apparently looks to be really good. My editor actually also has one. We bought one, and apparently it's really good. So I'm looking forward to testing that one out and doing a comparison against the nice thing. I have a bunch of them now. We're going to do a comparison against the Void Elites or the Void Pros, the newest Voids, and then also the HS70 Pros, I believe, and then also the Virtuosos. So we're going to do a full comparison on those and which one you should actually buy. Because I know the previous video that I did actually quite well. People enjoyed that one, so why not throw in the new version of the wireless headsets as well. And then also we do have a nice little box here from Adata, I believe, which we'll open up a bit later, maybe tomorrow or later on. And then this is the case that we're going to probably use for the build. So it's the Corsair 5000D Airflow, which is just the bigger version of this one right here. This is currently my system that I'm kind of using for some of my editing, and it has the Aorus Water Force cooler with the display. It's pretty cool. You can actually, usually the case for some of these ones with the display on, if you mount it the wrong way up, you can't really see the display, or it's like facing downwards or sideways or so on. But with this one, you can actually just turn the display and it actually goes to where you want it. So that was pretty cool to see. Not sure why you can't just adjust it usually with software, but there you go. And ugly looking green DDR5 RAM, but that's all there was. But anyway, so this is a i7-12700K system. It's the newest one, so big shout out to Gigabyte. I mean, we're doing a laptop and we're doing now just showing off my Gigabyte build as well, again with the 3080 Vision, and then the Z690 Aorus Pro board. And then also inside a Corsair case. So this video is sponsored by Corsair and Gigabyte. Not really, but anyway, we're gonna take a look at this one. Go into the garage, the studio, the super hot studio garage, and do a little unboxing of this bad boy. Now I probably need to put on all of the lights and everything. So let's quickly get everything set up. We're probably going to do like a nice little unboxing with all of the different cameras and everything, so you guys can see what actually goes on. We can put on lights, and then yeah, we're probably gonna need to put on the fan as well because I'm dying already inside here. It's so freaking hot. But you guys probably won't be able to hear me now. It's gonna be so loud. But anyway, let's set everything up and then get into the little unboxing. Let's go. All right, so we got the setup almost done. This camera just needs to go up here. So once I'm done with everything, we can do that. But I don't know if you guys have seen some of the other, I did like 2 studio build tour videos where I actually set all of this up. You guys probably saw on the time-lapse thing where off the desks go up with all the cameras there. So it's just quickly go that side. And guys can just see how everything works. So there's the teleprompter there with a camera behind that, my main GH5. We've got the 4 screens here. We've got this one, which is like a close-up face cam from the side, which is on a cooler's box currently. We'll sort that out later. But and then also we've got one from here on the side as well. And everything kind of just looks like that. So there's my hand there. There's that one, and then the front one, and then that one is going to be the top cam, which is this camera. But and then also audio is mostly going to go into that with the Rode wireless labs. But with all of that being said, we've got a little fake plant there, and then we have the Aero 17 here. I actually brought the Aero 15 along as well, so we can just do a little comparison side by side and actually see how they look. But anyway, let's quickly do an unboxing of the new-ish Aero OLED. Actually, it looks a bit different than mine, slightly, but there we have it. For what it is, for the 4K display and also the OLED display, the 17-inch is going to be perfect. But anyway, so this is the Aero now. You can do a comparison now, but underneath, I think underneath it pretty much looks the same. Thank you, somebody is grinding outside. But let's quickly do just a comparison. And this is the 15-inch, so not too much bigger, but I think for the display, which is the primary focus for this laptop, it's going to be really, really nice. And you can see just from the outside, the difference is here's more like a carbon fiber design and like a bit of arrows there. And then this one is more of a brushed aluminum style. Oh, you guys can see there. And then the arrows pointing downwards. Use it every day. And then let's quickly open it up and see. Well, you can do it with one finger. I know that's usually the thing. And on the inside, it actually does look a bit different as well. Not too much, but a bit. That's kind of the two differences. It's definitely a bit heavier, but I think the biggest difference, the power button is a bit different. It's of course a larger keyboard. Well, it's the exact same keyboard, but it's the sides, because the body is larger, so you do have some space on the side. All right, big difference? No, it's the same. I thought you had a RGB keyboard now on this one and not on that one, but I remember you actually do have an RGB keyboard. I just put it on white because it's just better on the eyes. And it's actually, like, it's not a massive difference, but it's actually pretty nice, especially if I do put them side by side. I think, yeah, that's where you definitely get a difference. Now, I don't exactly remember the brightness levels, but I think it's around 500 nits. But because it's the OLED display, it's just so sharp, which is what makes this display so beautiful. So keyboard, probably exactly the keyboard is the same. Trackpad, I believe, is pretty much the exact same as well. So let's really fire up some Cinebench. And then next up, quickly for our I/O. So on the top we have the Aero 15, and then here is the new Aero 17 OLED. And you do have your Ethernet port, your UHS 2 card reader, and then 2 USBs and your separate audio jacks. And then on the right side, you have both of them have their power connectors here. Then you have your HDMI mini DisplayPort, your Thunderbolt, but then you get a single USB 3 here. Alright, so we got everything set up, or mostly. So I currently have Cinebench R23 rolling here, and then we're going to do some 3D mark benchmarks and just maybe a temperature check and so on as well. Maybe a blender one, then we're already done for the review. Difference that I actually found out, it was probably in emails, but I didn't read it at the time. So this is actually the Aero 17 OLED HDR. So it's going to be an HDR display, whereas this one is currently not the Aero 15. Not sure if it's HDR 1000, but it is HDR 400. So, alright, that's a bit disappointing. So it's HDR, but honestly not really. Alright, so we are done, so I can just turn that off. So the new one is quite a bit more powerful than the old one. Now, again, this one scored 10,000, almost 900 points. This one, 8,250 on multi-core and single core, where this one is supposed to boost higher, but I think this one keeps its core clocks a bit more stable, and this one scored 1,480, whereas this one scored 1,111. 11111. Yeah, temperature-wise, so we talked about how hot it actually gets because it thermal throttles. In the garage here in South Africa, and also just today, it's super hot. So the news says ambient temperature, or well, the temperature is around like 30 degrees. So, and then the garage is also on its own. It's extremely hot. So after a while, I'll even start like sweating. Forgot to put that on. At least I did go make myself some coffee, so it's super hot, like the upper 20s in ambient temps, but I still made some hot coffee. So I just needed to do that. Alrighty. This one is already faster, averaging around like 4.4 to 4.2. Alright, there it dropped gigahertz wise, 3 gigahertz now. This one's also around. Alright, so using the camera again because Streamlabs just doesn't want to work. So I needed to boot up OBS and rearrange stuff and start some stuff up again. So we'll see how it works. Hopefully, I didn't set everything up, so it's not going to be perfect, but at least it's going to work now. So we can pretty much start recording again here and here. That's honestly just super annoying. And usually that's stuff that you don't see. There's a lot of that, like that's something that I want to add in these behind the scenes videos. All of the stupid stuff that happens without any reason. There's no reason that it needed to crash, but it crashed. So, and you guys can just like see all of the stupid things that happens like behind the scenes and everything, which I think will be pretty nice. Alright, so Blender is done, and on the Aero 17 it finished in just above 11 minutes, whereas the 15 finished in 12:45. So quite a bit faster, the new one compared to the old one. Alright, then the last Blender benchmark which we're going to do is a Gooseberry. So I'm recording this one because I want to see all of the temperatures and everything like that as well, the clock speeds. So far we can really see like 3.3 almost there. It peaked at around 4.5, whereas this one peaked around 4.6. So it's just kind of weird to see. This one's clock speeds are usually higher than this one, but this one just performs that much faster. So 3.2. That one just dropped from 3.2 to 3. There we go. So let's quickly let these run. They're still. Oh, they can quickly check temps. So this one's temperatures max was just below 90. This one already peaked over 90. So maybe what it is this one's temperatures are just better than the cooling. Well, it is a larger unit, so it's probably a lot more air ventilation inside than this one, so that could be a bit of a benefit to the 17 than the 15. Alright, so I think everything is done. It's so hot. Alright, so here we go. It is done. So The 17 took around 21 minutes, and the Aero 15 took almost 24 minutes. So the Aero 17 again is about 10 to 15% faster than this one. Temperatures wise as well, everything peaked at like a 90, which of course did cause thermal throttling. And on this side, nothing reached 90. So much better cooling on this one than on the 15. Alright, so just quickly did a Firestrike benchmark. So if you guys want to just compare it against like a system of yours or something, or final score and graphics score as well, physics did really well as well. So I can quickly compare these to some of the other benchmarks that I did. So let's just say that that one with the red is the previous era, the one that I have. So here we have physics score of 22,000 and 21,700. So that already is like a 10% increase, roughly again, the same with all of the other ones. Final score is from 19,000 or up to 19,000, let's say 200 from the 17,500. Alright, so Firestrike is also done with a score of 8,453. So we wanted a score of like 7,500. So we are almost 1,000 points, like 900 points more. CPU is only around 300 more, but the GPU is around, what, 1,000 more compared to this one, which is now off. Alright, so now I just quickly want to do a SSD test, because this one does feature now with PCI Express 4, so probably going to get a PCI Express 4 NVMe SSD, whereas this one it doesn't. And if we take a look at our SSDs, this one uses an Intel something SSD, and unfortunately it's honestly not really good. I've had a lot of issues with this one just being extremely slow. But I see here we have a newer SSD, and I just quickly did a search, and it looks to be a Gigabyte Pro SSD, a 1 terabyte. And here on the crystal disk, we can really see we reached almost 5 gigabytes per second, like 4,900 megabytes a second on that one, on the new PCI Express 4 SSD, whereas on the PCI Express 3 SSD we only reached around 3,000. Now where we actually also see a bit of a difference is here in AS benchmark, where we saw the duration of a lot of these are extremely high compared to over here. And that's, I think, where I mentioned where this one, the Intel one, is extremely slow in certain applications, and here we definitely saw that. Alright, so it's the next day. We finished the live stream for my editor's build. We actually got some of the stuff here, which is just going to live here for now. So it's going to look nice when I put it back on the shelves, but there's not going to be anything inside. It's just there in the background to look cool. Like I have a lot of stuff, but usually I don't really have that much. But anyway, so getting back into the Aero 17 OLED. Now I did a few extra benchmarks, or mostly just like a battery life test and so on. But with all of that out of the way, let's really now get into our gaming wallpaper. Let's now get into some of the gaming benchmarks. Alright, so the game we're going to start out with is going to be Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And now the difficulty is deciding between if I want to do it in 4K or if I want to do it in 1080p. Because even though the laptop can do, or the screen and everything is 4K, and the game will be able to be played at 4K, most likely you won't be playing a game in 4K on a laptop. It doesn't really make sense, and even though it's an OLED panel, still in 1080p, I usually run my Aero 15 in 1080p just because I don't really need to go that high in 4K. So you're still going to get the benefits of the OLEDs. So let's quickly do it in 4K and then move on to 1080p. We're going to run it in ultra high. Now, I know that's not needed. Now, some people do say like, you're doing it wrong and everything. I'm just keeping it in on ultra because this is going to be the base case for this system. So now, unfortunately, I don't think you'll be able to see just how good this looks on this display because of the camera, but it just looks gorgeous even in the main menu. Clock speeds as well, the CPU is very low, but of course it doesn't utilize this CPU to its max. because I remember we can go up to like 4 gigahertz on all cores. But frame rate's still a bit low. Memory around 11 gigs. And just the scenery, it's so good on the camera. It's so sad you can't see it, but the colors are so vibrant. So we've got an average of 36, minimum of 18, maximum of 75, doesn't really matter, and low 1% of 25. Alright, so now we're running it in a 1080p. Temps is looking fine. Memory, clock speeds are already better, 3.2. So it's dropping now a bit to 2.5 again. Memory is tiny bit lower, but not too much. Alright, so we got pretty much double 36. Yeah, that's pretty much double what we got. So from 36 to 77, and our 1% are also almost doubled. So I think it was 25 to 44. Rainbow Six Siege, we're doing it in 4K, starting out with field of view, just everything normal, but graphics is going to be a custom, but it's pretty much on ultra except for the render scaling. So we're still doing really well, and we're getting an average so far of just under 75, 74, so that's not too bad. And again, that's on 4K. We don't really need to go. We're going to change it to 1080p in a bit. They're below me. Where did that come from? So again, sorry if I'm really bad behind me. Mission lost. Alright, so dead, but we got around 75 frames a second on average in 4K. So now let's quickly drop that down to 1080p. There we go. Finally have audio. Alright, so let's quickly start again. 8. And we're already getting around like 190 frames a second, so much better. Oh damn. One. Another one. Reload. Might have been a bit... Oh, I'm in the bathroom. Alrighty. Got 2 headshots. Whoa! Alright, that kinda hurts. Ah, got me. Alright, but that's fine. We got a rough average of 185 there. So around 3x the frames, which isn't bad at all. So 85 from like 70 to 185. Alright, then the next game is going to be Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Now, I know the new Vanguard and everything is out. Unfortunately, I don't have that. I don't have all of the games. So that's really loud. So I'm not going to play all of the latest games, unfortunately, but it's still pretty much the exact same engine, so you're going to get most of the same performance out. So let's keep playing against some bots because I'm lazy, and then yeah, let's see it in 4K and then also 1080p. Alright, so we can quickly check out our settings. We're currently on 1080p, and then pretty much everything is on a max, and we do also have DLSS set on balance, no ray tracing. It's not really needed in this game, and motion blur and depth of field and grain and everything is off. So let's... I know you killed me. Get lost. It feels so bad playing this game only on a 60 Hz display. Kinda sucks a bit. Alright, I think now let's just this one there. And then now we got around like 146 frames a second, but lows were 64, so a bit low. Now let's quickly take it all the way up to 4K. So we're already getting just below 70 frames, like 65 now. It does feel a bit slower, even though it's 60. Whereas I think you do occasionally get drops. Right. And there we crashed. Alright, but we got around like 63 on average. Just go back. Can't exactly remember all of the frame rates and everything, but frame rates are looking pretty good as well. Not sure why it crashed. Server disconnected, internet problem. But I mean, with this as well, you got 4K over 60, so, and it was the same with Rainbow Six Siege. So if you wanted to, you can play 4K 60 on the Aero 17, and it shouldn't be a problem. Now it does get a bit hot up here, where the thermal, the heat pipes are. So fans again in the corners here, and then the heat pipes is joining here in the middle. But yeah, it's doing quite well. I think that's pretty much it for the look now. I'm not going to go over everything else. I think that's fine for the behind the scenes video. So all I really need to do now is to get a bit more benchmarks done. I'm going to redo some of the benchmarks because I didn't do it in the way I usually do it, and if I want to compare it to some of the other laptops that I did before. So I'm just going to redo some of the benchmarks and then get off the B-roll, and then maybe I'll do another like battery test as well. I think I might still want to do one of those. But whew, it's hot. That's pretty much it. But yeah, I think that's pretty much done for today, because that was primarily the things that I just wanted to get done. And then it's already like the next day, so I'm going to have to start with the new vlog already. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I do hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you guys actually enjoyed this behind the scenes video. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I do hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please like, I almost messed this up. Like, share, subscribe, and comment. Like always, my brain is too quick for my mouth. And I will check all of you guys next time. Cheers, guys.